Is this you right now? You walk out to the coop, bracing against the cold, hoping for that familiar treasure in your nesting box, and you find nothing. You're feeding your flock, you're giving them a cozy shelter, but the egg basket is empty. You've probably been told that it's just the cold, that chickens just stop laying in the winter. But what if I told you that's the biggest myth in backyard chicken keeping? And that the secret to a winter full of eggs has almost nothing to do with temperature. In the next 20 minutes, I'm to give you a complete science-backed blueprint to not just get more eggs this winter, but to do it safely while keeping your flock healthy, happy, and thriving. We're going to debunk the myths, starting with the real reason your hens have stopped laying. We'll dive deep into the great lighting debate, master the art of winterizing a coop, and unlock the secrets of high-energy winter nutrition, and even reveal the best chicken breeds for the job. By the end of this video, you'll have a step-by-step plan to turn your coop from a winter freeloader hotel into an egg-laying powerhouse. So let's get started. To fix the problem, we first have to understand it. And the problem isn't the cold, it's the light. A hen's body is like a tiny solar-powered egg factory. Her reproductive cycle isn't programmed by a thermometer, but by a clock, a light clock. This is all controlled by a tiny photosensitive organ in her head called the pineal gland. To stimulate egg production, that gland needs to register between 14 and 16 hours of light per day. When the daylight hours in fall and winter drop below 12, the gland hits the brakes, sending a hormonal signal to shut down the egg factory for the season. It's a brilliant survival instinct to ensure chickens aren't born in the dead of winter. This shutdown often happens at the same time as the annual molt, when your hens shed their old feathers for a new, warmer winter coat. Growing thousands of new feathers is incredibly demanding, and a hen's body simply can't produce feathers and eggs at the same time. So while cold is a factor, it's an energy thief that forces your hens to burn calories just to stay warm. It's not the main switch. The light is the switch, and that means we can turn it back on. The most effective way to get winter eggs is to use supplemental lighting to create an artificial 15-hour day. But doing this right is about more than just screwing in a light bulb. First, consistency is king. You need a reliable, programmable timer. Don't just trust your memory. Any interruption in the schedule can confuse your hen's body and even trigger a stressful molt. Second, timing is critical. You want to add artificial light in the morning, not in the evening. Here's why. The chickens naturally roost as the sun sets. If you use a light to extend the day and it suddenly clicks off at 9 p.m., they're plunged into darkness, potentially stranded on the coop floor and stressed out. A light that comes on at 4 a.m. and turns off as the sun rises allows for a seamless, natural transition into that day. Now let's talk technology. Not all bulbs are created equal. Incandescent light bulbs. These produce a great warm light spectrum, but they are horribly inefficient and a massive fire risk because of the heat they generate. I do not recommend them. Then you have CFLs or compact fluorescents. They're much more efficient but can flicker and perform poorly in the cold. And then you have LEDs. This is the best and safest choice. They are super efficient, last forever, work great in the cold, and produce very little heat, making them the safest option for a dusty, flammable coop environment. Whatever you choose, you want a warm white bulb to mimic the orange-red light spectrum that best stimulates egg production. And it doesn't have to be bright. Just enough light to read a newspaper in a dark corner is plenty. Okay, so this is the part you absolutely cannot skip. Putting electricity in a chicken coop is serious business. So make sure to do a few things. First, secure your fixture. Make sure your light is securely mounted far away from bedding or cobwebs. A protective cage around the bulb is also a good idea. A second, use outdoor rated components. All cords and fixtures should be rated for outdoor or agricultural use to resist dust and moisture. Number 3 is no permanent extension cords. They're a major fire hazard. If you need permanent power, hire a qualified electrician. It's worth the peace of mind. Now, using supplemental light is one of the most debated topics in the chicken community, and both sides have excellent points. The argument for lighting is practical. It gives you year-round food supplies, and you're not paying to feed freeloading hens for 4 months. If you sell eggs, it keeps your customers happy. And let's be honest, if you don't use a light bulb but you buy eggs from the grocery store in winter, those eggs were almost certainly produced in a commercial facility that uses supplemental lighting. The argument against lighting is about animal welfare. It argues that forcing a hen to lay year-round denies her a natural and necessary period of rest to rejuvenate her body. A hen is born with all the legs she'll ever lay. Lighting doesn't create more, it just makes her lay them faster, potentially shortening her productive lifespan from 5 or 6 years down to 3 or 4. There's no single answer here. It's a personal choice that depends on your goals and your philosophy. Even with perfect lighting, your hens won't lay if they're battling the elements. Your coop needs to be a winter fortress, and this starts with understanding the most critical concept of winter coop care. Ventilation is not the same as a draft. A draft is a direct stream of cold air at roosting level that steals body heat. It's a killer. Ventilation is the slow exchange of air that removes moisture and ammonia, and it's a lifesaver. In fact, it's the damp, humid air from poor ventilation that causes frostbite, not just the cold itself. So, your mission is to seal every crack and hole at or below roost level. Then ensure you have vents high up in the coop near the roofline to let the warm, moist air escape without blowing on your birds. Now, let's build your coop's own natural furnace with the deep litter method. So you want to start in the fall with a clean coop and add a 4 to 6 inch layer of pine shavings. Over the winter, instead of cleaning it out, just add a fresh layer on top and turn it with a pitchfork every few days. The composting action of the droppings and bedding will generate a gentle, steady heat from the floor up. And a quick word on supplemental heat. Just don't do it. Standard heat lamps are the #1 cause of coop fires. A well-winterized coop with cold-hardy breeds is all you need. If you live in an extremely cold climate and feel heat is absolutely necessary, use a much safer radiant panel heater, not a bulb. In winter, your chickens are eating to survive. Their feed consumption can increase by 1.5 times as they burn calories to stay warm. This is the time to switch from a standard 16% protein layer feed to a higher 18 to 20% protein feed to fuel their internal furnace and support feather regrowth. Now, let's talk about scratch grains. This is not a meal, it's a tool. It's like chicken candy, high in carbs, low in nutrients. The key is to feed it strategically. Give them a small handful per bird in the late afternoon, about an hour before they roost. The process of digesting those whole grains overnight generates metabolic heat, acting like a slow-burning furnace to keep them warm through the night. But the single most critical nutrient in winter is this: unfrozen water. A dehydrated hen will stop laying almost immediately. If you have electricity, a heated water base or a heated pet bulb is your most reliable solution. No electricity? No problem. Place a large black rubber tub in a sunny spot. The black rubber will absorb solar heat and slow the freezing process. You can also try the saltwater bottle trick. Fill a sealed plastic bottle with a very salty water and float it in the main waterer. The salt water has a lower freezing point, and its movement keeps the surrounding fresh water from icing over. Just make absolutely sure the bottle doesn't leak. Salt water is toxic to chickens. Genetics can also give you a huge head start. Breeds developed in cold climates are naturally better equipped for winter. Look for birds with heavy bodies and small combs, which are less prone to frostbite. Top-tier winter layers include Wyandottes, Orpingtons, Plymouth Rocks, and Brahmas. Finally, remember that a bored chicken is a destructive chicken. Being cooped up can lead to bad habits like feather picking and egg eating. You need to provide enrichment. It doesn't have to be complicated. Hang a head of cabbage to create a chicken piñata. Add a few logs or an old ladder for them to climb on. Toss in a bale of straw or a big pile of leaves and watch them gleefully tear it apart. Or you can use a small cage to make them work for their treats. A busy chicken is a happy and productive chicken. So let's bring it all together. Getting that full basket of winter eggs isn't about one magic trick. It's about creating a complete system built on a few key pillars. A, smart, safe lighting, providing a consistent 15 hours of light with a timer and a safe, low wattage LED bulb. 2, A fortified coop, eliminating drafts while ensuring high ventilation and using the deep litter method. 3. High energy nutrition, fueling your flock with higher protein feed, strategic evening scratch grains, and most importantly, constant access to unfrozen water. So now you have the knowledge to go from an empty egg basket to a steady supply, all while ensuring your flock is thriving and not just surviving this winter. Which of these tips are you going to try first? Let me know in the comments below. I really do read every single one. And if you found this guide helpful, do me a favor and hit that like and subscribe button for more backyard chicken advice that cuts through the noise, as well as emergency prepping and food tips. So stay warm and happy egg collecting.